Hey everyone, welcome back to AndyDemos. You just heard the Crossfire from Crazy Tube Circuits, and this one combines two key elements in nailing that SRV tone. Of course you have to play like them, but it's nice to have some gear to point you in the right direction. So let's take a closer look. At the foundation of the Crazy Tube Circuits Crossfire is an amp in a box that offers a variety of mid-60s Blackpanel tones with the same tone stack and bright switch. To help adapt to your gear and how much drive you're feeding the amp circuit, two headroom options are available. High headroom like an amp with 4 6L6s and a solid-state rectifier, or low headroom like a dual 6L6 amp with a tube rectifier. The other key ingredient in this famous tone is the green overdrive circuit, and the Crossfire is loaded with lots of essential mods, including asymmetrical or symmetrical clipping, a toggle switch to boost the overall gain and bass response, plus selectable 9 to 18 volt operation just for the overdrive section. Lastly, the Crossfire allows you to place any effect between the overdrive and the amplifier section with a passive effects loop, allowing delay and modulation to shine or get pushed by the overdrive signal. Like all Crazy Tube circuits, the Crossfire is hand-built in Greece and expertly tuned to fit any genre, not just blues or rock. For more information, check out crazytubecircuits.com. All right, so there's a lot of settings to show you here. I think the most important one to start off with is the amp foundation tone, because this is really the whole thing that sets the overall voicing. And I'll show you the difference between playing the overdrive circuit on its own and then introducing the amp circuit. It really just opens up the whole thing, gives you that very loud amp sound. But of course, you could back off on the amp's master volume and get that huge scope at bedroom levels. Now let's change the headroom to a lower, kind of spongier sound. As you can tell, that amp on its own is a pretty fat sound. It's not very compressed. And of course, you could back off on the master volume and get sort of these huge, big amp tones at bedroom levels. Now let's stack it with the overdrive and see how it reacts. So that's pretty classic screamer sound, but let's just increase the whole sort of depth of the whole thing by kicking on the amp circuit. Now let's juice it up even more and add a little bit more low end, which is great with these single coils. And with this higher gain setting, it's a good opportunity to show you the difference between symmetrical, which is stock, and asymmetrical clipping, which is a bit more amp-like. So I'll show you this on its own without the amp circuit engaged, and then kick on the amp, which of course, as you've heard, really just fills out the whole low end and just completes the tone. So that symmetrical is kind of more compressed, not as dynamic, and the asymmetrical, of course, just kind of adds a little bit more note bloom and is a bigger tone overall. So you have so many options here. Now let's just go back to asymmetrical and then kick on the amp. Like I mentioned earlier, these two circuits really go hand in hand, and especially if you have a high gain sound on the Overdrive channel, just having a cleaner pedal platform amplifier, so to speak, on the left is really a great way to kind of just add some depth and take away some of that, hairiness of a high gain sound. I'm going to stick with the symmetrical clipping, add the gain switch, and really just pump up the gain on the right channel while keeping the left fairly clean. Let's try a couple more features. One is selecting 18 volts on the overdrive circuit just by taking off the back cover, and the other is using a pedal in the effects loop. In this case, the Memphis Vibrato, which is the vibrato circuit, just like the Killer V, but without all the preamp involved. It just gives you the vibrato, and you could still have the amp, in this case, last, and then have the drive before all the modulation. Well, that's the Crossfire, delivering classic SRV tones and beyond with all of its additional mods and gain range. You can find out everything about this and more unique creations at crazytubecircuits.com. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you for another Andy demo.